This podcast this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, is a really interesting one. This is about the new guidelines around work experience. And these are new guidelines that, I ask you, how much do you know about them? What challenges do you foresee in executing and delivering on the new work experience guidelines? And you may have some questions, some scenarios, some what ifs. Well, hopefully some of those or all of those will be discussed and answered today. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Sarah Mintey, MBE, to this podcast this afternoon. And Sarah is the Chief Executive of Developing Experts. Great to see you, Sarah.
Thanks, Matt. I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you. It's lovely to have you. And we'll cut straight to the chase. New guidelines for work experience. Obviously, you speak to hundreds of school and MAT leaders every week and every month and every term. So it's wonderful to be able to pick your brains and to learn from you today. A really nice starting point, Sarah, I guess will be, could you summarize the changes for us, just so we can have a high level kind of picture and understanding as to what those changes are that are now coming our way?
Certainly, Matt. So basically, since Labour came in, they have introduced this policy that doubles the amount of work experience that schools are required to deliver. Previously, schools have been required to deliver a week's worth of work experience at Key Stage 4. The new statutory guidelines actually ask schools to deliver a week's worth of activity at Key Stage 3 and a week's worth of activity at Key Stage 4. I will unpack that as we go through in the next bit of the session. But basically, we've also then had a whole range of schools, parents come to us since this announcement. And so what we've done, having listened and looked at what those guidance are asking, what the guidelines are asking of schools, we've then looked at how we can really enhance and expand our offer to respond to that.
Yeah.
And it's all about making sure young people are career ready. So that's the real focus that schools are being asked to unpack a solution for.
Interesting. Okay, so it's quite literally doubled the requirement.
Yeah, but the challenge is at the moment, Key Stage 4, about 49% of students at Key Stage 4 currently access a work experience. 51% do not. So to actually then ask schools to increase and double when only half are actually experiencing that work experience currently, that there lies the challenge, because schools aren't going to be given an additional budget to increase and deliver what they're being asked to do.
Interesting, Sarah. And when does this change come into effect, or has it already come into effect?
It came into effect at the beginning of this term, so September 25. So we're right at the beginning of this policy kicking in. So we actually had quite a few heads and schools approach us at the end of the summer term saying, look, what advice do you have for us? How can we access the employers that we're working with?
Yeah.
And we started to think about that response to support our workers or our schools. But then also we had employers coming to us, because of there's only about 7% of employers, of the large employers, that are delivering the bulk of the work experience. And so the large employers that are already committed to delivering a really comprehensive quality experience for young people, for them to be asked to be doing more as well, they've been put under stress as well and strain. So the system is really squeaking at the moment. And so what we've then done is listen to what the employers are needing as much as what the schools are needing.
Yeah.
Initially, we came up with ideas like, when you're doing those trips out of school to go and visit and do a field trip for geography, or do a museum visit, bulk careers into that visit, because there's a whole range of careers that young people will actually experience as a result to those museum trips. And the focus previously is everything history. but you've got creators, you've got museum workers that are around those trips and working in those facilities that really we just need to signpost so you can actually be quite creative with what you're doing already in the school, but actually think about, okay, if we're going out of school or we've got somebody coming in as a speaker, what connections can we make of
Yes.
what's happening in the school already to do it in a way where we're just being overt about the career element that is linked to those activities. We started there as a starting point, and then we had one of our employers come to us and said, look, we just need to increase what we're doing because we can't access or we can't increase what we're doing anymore. So first of all, we started to look at creating a hybrid version of a work experience because we've got some employers who are literally delivering thousands of placements each year. And then we looked at actually having a complete virtual work experience solution online.
Yeah.
And so by the time we had really challenged the process of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, we then looked at developing experts approach to what we do, which is all about embedding careers into the curriculum. So what we've now done for schools is created a virtual work experience that is linked to the curriculum. So if they're in Key Stage 3, they can access a one-day version. And they're not there yet. We've got our first one that goes live next week with a veterinary practice, and it's beautiful. And then we've got around 20 employers that we're in the process of building these out. And they're either one day virtual work experiences or they're 5-day virtual work experiences. And it enables a young person to really look under the bonnet of those career links based on what you are delivering in the classroom. So what we're wanting to do is just make sure that the careers isn't a bolt-on, it's integral to that classroom. So that's the bit that we're really focusing in on. So that 2-week guarantee that schools are being asked to give, or 10 days, what we're doing is looking at how we can then make those virtual work experiences, because they're career specific or lesson curriculum specific, age appropriate again. And so what we're doing, we're actually having a primary taster experience, which we are labeling as a basic package. Then we're actually having a Key Stage 3 package, which is our intermediate program. And then we're actually having our Key Stage 4 offer, our advanced program. And next year we'll be offering a Key Stage 5 offer because the employers are asking us to deliver that. Now, what can a young person expect if they're going into a virtual work experience? We're creating simulations, we're creating a whole range of activities that will really give them basic work readiness programs that cover off first aid in the workplace, that cover correct lifting, that cover fire escape procedures, everything you'd need to do to induct a member of staff into a new workplace environment. Then they'll be given activities that are specific to that sector or that particular job, but done in a way, depending on the phase, it will either be, if it's basic, a focus on the equipment that is linked to that particular environment. And when you go into the Key Stage 4 version, it's giving signposts to level 1 qualifications that include things like work readiness, how to manage your first salary. So it's a real mix in order to make that breadth and depth just exciting for young people.
Sarah, I'm sat here smiling because I'm just reminiscing on my own personal work experience all of those years ago, 32-ish, 33-ish years ago. And I'm just thinking how incredibly well mapped out and strategic. And as you said, that interlink with interest, with career, with curriculum, with real life careers is unbelievable. I remember my work experience. This will make you laugh. I went to Barnsley Metrodome, which is a leisure centre in Barnsley, South Yorkshire. And that was my work experience. And as lovely as it was, unfortunately for me, the week was very observational. So in terms of getting my hands on stuff, whether it was admin, whatever it was at the time, I was very enthusiastic and, quite sporty. Hence, I wanted to go to a sports centre. But it was very, what I would call observational. Did I learn a lot? No. Did I see a lot? Yeah. Could I apply those skills? No.
Yeah.
So I wish I was a child of today. I wish I was a student of today going through this program. It sounds so interlinked and so educational led first and foremost, rather than it being observational and a nice to have. It seems very, very, on the nail.
Just to unpack that, I mean, our very first employer to sign up was Morgan Sindall, and they have a really comprehensive range of construction-linked work experiences across all the school sites that they currently have projects in. And sometimes, with staffing challenges, you've got cover issues to make that package really, that whole experience really rich. And so what they're looking at doing is having a hybrid solution. So when there are days where sometimes the staffing isn't as it needs to be,
Yeah.
they've got a really rich alternative to make sure young people can go above and beyond. But what we're doing in addition to all of that, we are actually starting off with a lifestyle calculator for young people. So they actually work out what lifestyle they want and then look at what careers will give them that lifestyle. And then as the young person goes through the program, they will actually have a self-assessment process all done online that really looks at their levels of motivation towards the careers they're working through the week. By next March, the full version of the program will go live with around 20 different disciplines of virtual work experience being published, along with AI mark tools. So immediately, if young people are completing assignments, immediately they get the feedback. But at the end of the 1 day or at the end of the 5 day program, they immediately get a certificate which populates into the AI CV builder and the AI cover letter. So immediately they are increasing their work readiness, and they can just do more than one. I mean, if they are motivated by the experience, they can do a whole range of different disciplines. So they really see what that looks like before they commit.
Sounds incredible. Sounds absolutely brilliant. Flipping it around. So when the new announcements were put out there, what kind of fear, what kind of concerns did school and multi-academy trust leaders have that, they brought to your attention, that they discussed with you formally or casually, things that crossed their mind in regards to this? I mean, you shared right at the beginning a very interesting stat: 49%, 51%, 51 being those that don't engage in work experience. And I'm sure that will have been a real, like, oh my goodness, well, if this is what it is now, how are we going to manage with the double requirement? In addition to that, were there any other concerns that were shared, worries in terms of how this could be delivered by the schools and Mats?
Yeah, I mean, there's several. I'm going to kick off with the most important, or one of the key pressure points: the financial pressure of adding this layer on top of a system that's already at breaking point. They're concerned about costs, the supervision, the extra staff needed to make this all happen in a way that provides a value add. Developing Experts is offering this package free. And so we've actually got industry partners sponsoring this package to make sure young people have a quality experience. So if you're a school leader and you're thinking, hang on a minute, how much is it going to cost me? It's not going to cost you anything. So we're really committed just to delivering exceptional work experiences and career-linked experiences embedded in our curriculum in a way that really enriches it. So at the moment, you have to pay, and then come 1st of December, we're unlocking it so students can access it and bypass the subscription element or segue. So we're just making those modifications to the tech. Teachers can already see the virtual work experiences if they've got an account, but the bit where it becomes free starts in December. The other points that heads and teachers covered were just placement availability, given that there is a shortage already. How is the system going to increase that access when there's already constraints and pressures? In addition to that, just the logistics and scheduling of managing those placements to create that opportunity. Typically, a school will have one career advisor working with the Careers and Enterprise Hub, and there's only so many hours in the day to make this happen, and that resource is not being increased. So that's a concern. The administration or burden, administration and the burden that then creates for the risk assessments if you're doing something in person. It's all just a bit of a straw on the camel's back scenario with all of those points, but then also just the quality of what young people said. I mean, you shared lots of observation, and what we're trying to do, because I can remember back to my own school days, I went to a bank and then I went into a school because I wanted to go into education, but I just sat around a lot looking and watching. I just, what we've really leaned in on doing is as we're going through this experience, as they're walking through the building to work out where the fire escapes are, how do we make this as educational as possible so that they can make that decision? Is this career for me? And, you know, in the Ratke's Vet program that we've done, we've created a spotlight on 4 different jobs: the practice manager, the veterinary nurse, the receptionist, the veterinary surgeon, and immediately they're getting a flavour as to what their day and what the pressures look like. But what we've done as well, we've created curveball activities through the tech. So you're going about your day, you think you've got an hour to do this task, and all of a sudden there's an emergency that comes in, which is typical of a work environment. But what we've tried to do is just recreate that, so they get a real feel and dig under that bonnet, as I keep saying. So there's some of the challenges, and that's how we've responded as well, Matt.
It's amazing. Like I said, I was smiling before, I'm smiling even more now. Can I be one of your students? Can I go through this? Yeah, that's fabulous. For everybody listening, I'm sure in particular secondary school and multi-academy trust leaders, hence the title of today's podcast, I'm sure you're probably thinking to yourselves, this is great. I want to learn more. I want to ask a few questions. Sarah, would you mind sharing your contact details just while we're on this podcast now, so everybody can be aware of it, they can refer to it, give you a call, drop you an email, visit the website? Where can they get more information on this? Because I'm sure, you know, we knew going into this would be a really, really popular topic. But yeah, if you could share your contact details, that'd be great.
Certainly. So Sarah Mintey, CEO of Developing Experts. So the website is developingexperts.com. It's really easy just to go onto the site, set up a free trial account. You can try the whole solution to try before you buy. We've got a complete sequence curriculum for science and geography. We're now about to launch history as well in the new year. But we just focus in on how to give quality career experiences through the curriculum, but do it in a way where young people can make informed choices about that future, of their future. So developingexperts.com, free trial, dig around, try before you buy. Any questions? We have a complete CPD program in order to support your staff, your teachers, to be confident using the technology, but do it in a way where they can really showcase to young people careers in an exciting way.
That's great, Sarah. Thank you. And again, just to summarize it, so when obviously as the senior leaders in schools that are watching and listening to this today, if you are a senior leader that has been or is worried about the execution, the planning of all of the stages of your work experience, have a chat with Sarah. Have a look online at Developing Experts. If you are concerned about the logistics, Sarah's mentioned about the online virtual experience and also shared that some of the organizations that Sarah's company has partnered with also have a hybrid model and a way of working and thinking as well. It's not going to be my experience as in just observational. It's very, very clear there's an incredible pathway here interlinked with real life, real careers, and it's not going to cost you a penny as a school or a multi-academy trust, which Sarah's made very clear. So in my head, it ticks the boxes. Hopefully for you guys listening and watching this podcast today, it ticks the boxes as well. Please get in contact with Sarah or her colleagues or the website. And if it's something of interest, I'm sure Sarah and the team will be delighted to support you. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us for this podcast. I really appreciate your time as always. And viewers, listeners, we'd really appreciate your feedback. If you've got any questions for Sarah, you know where she is. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Matt.